Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning. Happy Friday. We're glad to be here with you. Just wrapping up we wrapped up yesterday, a really great discovery visit with someone that's a new client. So looking forward to working with them over the course of the following months.
Almost 25 years or so.
Yeah, really, really great. So we're going to be working with them on a transformational engagement. Right. So really, that's great people. It's such a wonderful visit. So we just a couple of quick things to announce. Don't forget NIADA next week. We will be broadcasting live on Wednesday, and we're going to have a really huge announcement too. Yeah. So we'll talk about that a little bit again.
Yeah, of course. We're going to actually have two broadcasts on Wednesday. We'll go ahead and do our regular morning time slot, and then we'll be broadcasting from the convention at 9:45 Mountain, which would be 12:45 Eastern. So they'll be able to find us at that time of day live as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just so you all know, we will be in Albuquerque most of the day on Monday. So if there's any dealers out there that would like us just to kind of swing in and say, hey, let us know. I know we already have one dealer that we're going to stop in and probably say hi or connect with somehow.
Like the dealer's not there, but we may still stop and see the facility. So.
And then when we're in Vegas, we'll be, if there's any dealers out there that would like us to swing in, we'll be, be able to take a couple on Tuesday or Thursday to swing in and talk to them. And then we're heading to Salt Lake, and in Salt Lake, the week of the 26th, that we'll be available to do some visits if people would like us to swing in and ask questions and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're listening, don't forget to say good morning. Let us know where you're coming from, and either give StreamYard the ability to show who you are, or if you want to throw it in the comments as well, that would be fantastic. Jim wanted to do just a little bit of a follow-up on what we talked about yesterday, which was collection efficiency.
Right. So I just wanted to get back in there and give some actual numbers from some of our clients. And so I just pulled one. In fact, I'm just looking at the screen now. So, this is a client with a good sized portfolio, probably 1,700 contracts or so, maybe 1,600. And, just looking at on the screen, I'm looking at the results from there. This is a client that we've worked with for many years. So we've actually got 290 weeks worth of data in this spreadsheet. And if I look at, for example, their last 10 weeks, as I said in the last session, that we do collection efficiency typically on a 10-week rolling average, and they're actually at 100.6% across the 10 weeks. Now that'll come up and down. They've been, typically around 97, and across their entire history, they're at 96.7% for the time we've been measuring that. But the dealer is projected on average to bring in 164 grand a week, 164, 125. That's contractually projected again. So that would be all dollars projected. And then they actually bring in 165, 113. So yeah, just it's incredible what can be. And keep in mind, we're filtering payments greater than $800 out of that.
So, if you want any more information on how to be able to start collecting or tracking your collection efficiency, please feel free to reach out. Today's topic, Jim and I had we always talk work. And we were discussing some of the things that we wanted to be able to start sharing with everyone out there. And so we decided that we wanted to go into something that's kind of meaty and something that we typically share in an engagement.
Right.
And that is gaping holes. I know that those of you who have heard Jim speak before, he's alluded to those, the gaping holes. And so we're going to start, today's going to be the first of many. We won't be doing them like every single time we see you, or you hear us, that we'll be talking about the next one. But this is something that's going to be talked about over the course of the coming weeks. And so the first one that we wanted to talk about, Jim, do you want to go ahead and introduce which gaping hole we're going to be talking about
Sure.
today?
I think, and maybe a little backstory on that. Keep in mind that somebody who's been doing this now, consulting and visiting just buy here, pay here dealerships and finance companies for 22 years. That's taken me to 26 states. I've been in dealerships that were performing well. I've been in dealerships that were struggling. You obviously learn a lot. I always say when I go out and do these visits, I learn as much as I teach when I go into these dealerships and finance companies. And so one of the things that has come up, and one of the things that we certainly try to share with our clients is how to protect them. You might put it in the category of risk mitigation, but it's really about plugging holes to create checks and balances, safeguards to protect the dealer against. It could be something as serious as theft or embezzlement. It could also just be mismanagement. Sometimes it's unintentional, but it kind of ties back to our conversation about collection efficiency. It's like if we're not doing some of these things, we might not recognize, these things are happening. So the first gaping hole, though, we want to talk about, and this is kind of coming off of this visit, is, we see people that are long established, and we hear dealers talk about, I trust the people that work for me. And, just keep in mind that somebody that has done this in a lot of places, worked with a lot of dealers, I virtually have never heard of a theft or embezzlement case where the dealer didn't trust the person. I mean, that's how they got themselves in that pickle to begin with.
Yeah. And we're not in any way saying don't trust your team.
No.
We're just saying create opportunities for your team not to create distrust.
Well, and there are a couple of factors on this. Like, I think I would come at this, and keep in mind this morning, we may have people listening that are dealers. We may have people listening that are office managers or controllers. And my answer would be the same. If I were sitting with both people in the room, the answer would be the same, because what we're really trying to do, and really this first gaping hole is really just check writing. Okay. So this is about having people on the team that have the authority to write checks. And if we grant that authority, then we need to understand the risk that we're taking.
And we're talking not just like writing, but signing checks. The ability to sign checks.
Yeah. So if we're able to, of course, if we write and sign checks, then obviously we have a lot of, access to the company funds and our ability to, and by the way, we typically hire people that are smart, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to hire people that are intelligent. So if they're intelligent and they have access to those things, then what I'm really suggesting is that's one of the first gaping holes that we need to guard against. So how do you guard against that? Well, you create limits. You create, and typically this can be done at the bank level as well, is that any check above a certain amount requires 2 signatures. Typically we'd like to see somebody else sign off on the checks, and make sure that somebody else is in the loop on authorizing those checks and whatever method that looks like. But this is really just about, let's think about 2 things. Let's look at the dealer side and say, when we grant that authority to write checks like that, we make ourselves vulnerable to some sort of embezzlement. And we've seen some big ones. I personally had a manager who was a partner at the time who embezzled about $14,000. Thankfully, I caught it fairly early. We were able to recover, but it was really through the checkbook. And they were doing some pretty creative things with the checkbook to be able to put money in their pocket.
Now let's kind of talk that, like we said before, obviously you're going to hire people that you trust. You wouldn't hire them. You wouldn't hand a checkbook to them if you didn't trust them.
Sure.
And and we're not saying that people are intrinsically untrustworthy at all. But what we're saying is that real life happens.
Yeah. And the way I like to say it is we're talking about safeguards that keep honest people honest. So this is about, putting safeguards and putting measures in place so that we are able to, protect against those things that, could happen. And we just like to keep that door closed. And this is not about, now if we think about the office manager side of this, or whoever might have the authority to write these checks, if I'm in that position, I don't really want that responsibility. And I don't really want to be in the circle of suspicion if there's a problem. So I think the best way I protect, and this is where, a dealer principal or supervisor has the opportunity to step in and protect themselves and to protect the person who's, carrying out those functions. So that's why I say, if I were in that position, and I've traditionally done that, we'll talk about, in the weeks to come, we'll talk about the other things that we see that,
Mhm.
make dealers vulnerable. Sometimes that's inside the software. Sometimes it's cash management. There are going to be some other things that we see that, can create leakage. And
Mhm.
sometimes that leakage is just simple mismanagement. Sometimes it's outright theft. And so it's not a fun thing to think about, but it's like, it's typically totally, um, avoidable if we'll just take some safeguards, put some policies in place. And yes, it might be, we tend to do these things in the interest of expedience. We
Mhm.
want to get checks out and we want to get our vendors taken care of, whatever. And that's understandable. But what really is saying is, in the interest of expedience, we're putting ourselves at risk.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that the person who's got that authority today is not trustworthy and that they have good intentions. We just have seen that, when you've done what I've done and you've been in these dealerships and you've come in behind these situations, when people, develop something serious and traumatic in
And
their life.
that's what I think is like. I can imagine that there's a lot of dealers out there. They're going to go, "Oh, not my team.
Yeah.
It's my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
It's my mom.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
someone, a person I've known for forever, or they've worked with me forever, and I can trust them. I would trust them with my children."
Yeah.
I
And,
would.
as I hear that, it reminds me of the dealer I worked with in the central part of the US who told me, I've known this guy since the third grade, and he stole probably $100,000 from that dealer. Is that a big enough
Okay,
number?
so and so is it about, here's the question though. Is it about that we're bad judges of character? I say no. I say
No.
that, we can tell if it's someone that we love and we trust. The point of this is even the most wonderful person put in a situation where they are backed into a corner, they are more likely to make a decision because they're backed into a corner. This might
Sure.
be something about, I've gotten into a bad situation. I need to be able to put food on my table, whatever it is.
Right.
I mean, backed into a corner. And we all know, because of our customers, desperate people
Mhm.
will do desperate things. And life happens to even the most trustworthy of
Oh, of
people.
course. And that's the thing that, just we can't predict what's going to be happening in their lives. And so sound like we may have an issue on our Facebook thread.
Yeah.
We've got some hackers in there doing something.
Yeah. So don't pay any
Yeah.
attention to that. We're not into Tinder.
So let's
Okay.
figure out how to block those folks.
I'll see how I can do that. I'm not exactly sure how. Well,
In the
let's keep
meantime,
going, and
yeah,
I'm
throw
going to
your
keep going.
comments in there. Make sure if you haven't said so, let us know what state you're
We're
listening from this
blocking the
morning.
user. So yeah.
But yeah, if you can get in there and just let us know what state you're listening from.
Yeah.
We'd like to know where people are hearing us from.
You know what's really funny is that just because what we're doing, it's been so funny to Jim and I that we're getting more and more people reaching out and saying, "Hey, we can help you.
Yeah.
We'd love to do this stuff." And it's great. I mean, it's fantastic, but that's our first hacker attempt. Yeah.
That's right.
That's awesome. So back to, trust your people, and we want you to trust your people.
We want to keep it that
and
way.
we want to keep it that way. And so part of this is, hey, Nick from Pennsylvania is here.
Hey, good morning.
Hey. And GR Moore, I wanted to say, hey, good morning
Hi,
to GR. And then I have Grayson King's Sales Rivers with Carrie Blythe and Greg King too, that are in saying
nice.
hi.
Good morning, Greg.
Yeah. So trustworthy is we continue to trust your team.
Uh-huh.
Don't give them the opportunity if something really life happens.
Sure.
to be put in a position where it could harm your relationship,
right,
and harm your dealership.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to put the assets of the company at risk. And so this is really, and you're right, to preserve relationships, you create those safeguards. And so it's really just, don't put yourself in a position where an employee's life could change. They find some stress or some pressure from something personal that's happening in their lives. I've seen, family members develop a drug problem, or there's legal problems, or it's, obviously somebody's trying to keep their child from going to jail, they'll probably take some pretty drastic measures to,
Mhm.
in that situation, we've seen gambling problems develop. And so, they're just things like that that can be a very real issue. And so we just want to guard against those things. And again, this is just about having appropriate checks and balances in our business. And that's just one of them. We'll take you inside some of the others.
Oh
in the weeks
yeah,
to
we've
come.
got a good list of
Yeah.
things that we, especially when we first step into engagement, it's kind of like the discovery / orientation, whatever. These are typically some of the first things, especially when we're launching.
Right.
These are the first things that we teach people, and it really does in the industry save
Sure.
them a lot of heartache, headache, and money ache.
And it's sometimes easier for us, obviously, to come in and have those conversations with people, and
Yeah.
they know that it's coming from somebody outside who's just stepping in and say, these are normal protocols. Like, this is something that we typically
Mhm.
should have in place. And so sometimes it's easier, sometimes hard for dealers, nature of the relationship with these people, to have, the conversations. But yeah, we're prepared to do that. You might want to make an announcement about the boardroom.
Oh, because I saw that Hugo is in,
Oh,
and
nice.
Hugo
Good morning,
said,
Hugo.
what was the Texas? It's already blazing hot.
Yeah.
Already sweating in Texas heat here. Good morning, Hugo, 8 a.m. We will be broadcasting live in the boardroom as well on Monday.
Right.
So we wanted to let everybody know that
So any
that's,
of our listeners who are not familiar with the boardroom,
oh, yeah.
that's another one of the the Buy Here Pay Here Facebook groups.
Yes.
So and our friends and colleagues over at Butler Sanchez
Mhm.
started that group some time ago, and so we're pleased to be offered the opportunity to broadcast live in there. So starting Monday, we'll be
Absolutely.
over there in that group as well.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add on gaping holes before we kind of move into a couple of other
I
things?
think we pretty well covered
Excellent.
that. There's more on the future subjects, but
Yeah.
for that one,
So if you've got any questions on that, feel free to reach out, and we can help in any way we can.
yeah.
So there's a couple of things that we wanted to also chat about. We have a client that we're doing just it's a short-term kind of transformational engagement, and we helped them put a survey to their clients, their current customers and past customers through social media and email this last week to try to get a feel for who their customer is. I mean, we talk about this all the time. We as dealers, vendors, whatever, it's like we think we know the customer. We think we know what it is that they want. We think we know, what it is that's important to them. We talked about a little bit about this at Buy Here, Pay Here United, that I had the opportunity of surveying some people through first round of interviews for employment, because we sent out an employment thing blast. They had some positions open at one of our clients. And so I did the first round just because we were reformatting how they hire. And since these were already customers, I was asking them, so, what was your experience like? And what was like the thing that really made you feel like you wanted to do business with them, or why you bought, and all of that. So, I got some really different intel than what the dealer thought was the most important thing. So back to our dealer right now that put out this survey to his client or his customers' client base, and it's going to be running for like another week. And typically when you do a survey of your customers, you don't get a huge response, and he's gotten a pretty good response so far, and the results are gold.
Right. Really
And
important stuff.
he actually said that to me this morning, because I was like, hey, finally got in there and took a look at your dashboard, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I quote you, I'm going to have from memory, best $100 ever spent.
Because the dealer put up $100
Was it
prize,
like
or
an oil change or
it
gas or
was a
something
gift.
like that? Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
our respondents will do a drawing from our respondents, and one will win $100 gift card.
Yep. And it's just a drawing, and really, really great information that's coming from that. So why do I want to talk about the survey? One of the things that Jim and I are hoping to do to help the industry is we want to be able to get and dive into our customers and really start to understand. We have the ability, we have the technology to be able to ask
Mhm.
and to gather that intel and to chart it out and to
Sure.
really see, what it is that our customers, what it is that their challenges they're having with the industry. What
Sure.
are the great things? What are the things that are encouraging them, or what are they looking for?
Mhm.
What's the most important part?
Right.
All of that. So we've already talked to a few of our dealer clients, and so they're not. We're already going to be doing this with them, but we're looking for about 20 dealers
Mhm.
out there that have at least 1,000 past or current customers, and a way to be able to reach out to them, whether it be through social media or whatever. And we would like to put together a survey. It's to survey the buy here, pay here customer
Mhm.
and find out, like, what from the horse's mouth, what are the things that matter most to you?
Yeah, it's a changing environment, right? With digital marketplace, kind of changing in that way. So we've got that to think about. But mostly it's like we just know from our marketing experience that we sometimes think we know what the consumer wants, and we're guilty, and not just in buy here pay here, but across business in general. We create this product and we think this is what consumers need. I'm going to build this product, I'm going to take it to market and sell it, instead of actually going to the consumer and verifying what it is they want. So we just find that there's a lot of anecdotal stuff out there,
Mhm.
conversational stuff about, we believe we do this because this is what our customers want. And like, do we really know what our customers want? And these surveys are surprising us a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so,
There's one piece that I want to not go into specific numbers, but it's something we alluded to as well at Buy Here Pay Here United. People keep thinking that buy here, pay here customers, the important thing that gets them to you, or the things that are important, are the car.
mhm.
And I'll tell you, this one that we've done, and we said this at Buy Here Pay Here United, it was 1%.
It was the lowest
It was the
ranking
lowest.
category.
So why the heck are we as dealers car forward with everything we do?
Yeah, like it's definitely and we want to get a much larger sampling. Like, to follow up on what Michelle said, we're setting out to do 20 dealers with at least 1,000 customers between their current active portfolio and any inactive, paid off, charged off customers. So a total of 1,000 customers in the entire portfolio, or entire customer list, I should say,
Mhm.
active and inactive. And then the idea there is to try to survey 20,000 customers with the expectation of about a 5% respondents rate. So it would give us about 1,000 actual surveys. So that's
Mhm.
why we picked that number. And so if you're a dealer with that kind of portfolio size, we'd love to talk to you if you're interested. We have some dealers who've, and if you've already announced that, we're aware of the ones that have already, and we've spoken
Yeah,
directly
yeah,
to
we
some. So
have.
we have some that are already
Uh-huh.
committed to do that. And the survey we're working on it, we'll have it ready to go out
And so
shortly.
this is something that we're offering to dealers, these 20 dealers, for free.
Right.
I mean, there is zero. The only thing that the Octane Group, Jim and Michelle, are going to be getting from this is aggregate data
Right.
that we can share with all the dealers that are out there. So if you want to participate in this, we will also we'll be sharing you're going to have your aggregate data. So you're going to be able to see your customer base.
Mhm.
So for your dealership, we will also share with you the aggregate of all of the dealers out there. This is something that's really I think, going to help you as a dealer, if you're one of those that fit what we're asking. If you want to join us and be part of this, it's going to help you. It's going to help you in your marketing and how you're talking to your customer, and maybe even how you're selling, or approaching your customer on the lot.
Right.
It really is going to be. It could be very, very powerful.
Yeah. Now it gives us a chance to dial in marketing,
Oh,
because
yeah.
now we're able to create messaging around what is really the pain point of the consumer. And like I say, now that we have digital entering, our sales process in the way that it is, then we need to
Mhm.
make sure we know to what extent that's a factor. We're seeing a big and kind of sudden pendulum swing, where we're seeing a lot of dealers try to jump over to that digital side, quickly. And so we just feel like we need to go survey people and find out, how do they really want to communicate? How do they really want to buy?
Mhm.
What are their expectations around experience? What motivates them to decide to buy?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, one of the other things that I thought was just super interesting and that we've been seeing more and more is that customers want to be communicated via text.
Mhm.
And one of the things in the survey is we said, hey, when if you would like to be notified via text, if you want, please enter your cell phone number as well. And 90% of the people or
More than
so
90, yeah.
that have filled out the survey entered their cell phone number as well.
Right. So that has a lot to do probably to how trusted we are and how the survey is written,
Yeah.
But as I said to Michelle, with this particular dealer, as an example, we took the survey, we helped write the survey. It's part of our engagement with them. We helped them create the survey and put it out there on their Facebook page and, other channels. But the idea is that even if if they take that survey and they may not win the thing, but the thing that
Oh,
the
yeah,
questions are written in the survey, it's also a promotional opportunity because because of the way the questions are written, the customer sees, oh, this is a new dealer who's entering the space and they're really trying to understand the customer and meet my needs. So
or
even if
an
they're,
existing dealer that it's
Yeah.
like they're trying to get better.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we get a chance to, promote the dealership in an indirect and very
Mhm.
authentic way, because we're going out and surveying customers and we're getting in front of people in the process. And so it's a really nice way for us to collect information, make sure we're creating the right message. And obviously we're creating the right processes in our business to serve the
Mhm.
customer and meet them where they are.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're excited about that. If you're interested, private message or Jim or myself on social media, LinkedIn, go to the website and do a comment form, whatever. Those of you have Jim's phone number, send him a text.
Please, let's get
we
this
do
thing underway.
texts
Yep.
too.
Yep.
So for our, we're going to wrap up. It looks like a little bit early, unless you've got something else that you want to chat about.
No, I just
Before we
would
go.
remind
Okay.
folks that our stops coming up between now and the end of
Yeah.
July. We've got, of course, short stop in Albuquerque. We've got Vegas. We've got Salt Lake City. We will be in Austin for TIADA at the
Oh yeah,
third
that's
week in
coming up
July.
too.
And so we'd love to call on some dealers while we're down in that neck of the woods as well.
Yeah, before or after.
Right.
We haven't really set our schedule.
I'm
before
counting
and
on some more
after.
queso in Austin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey, any of you dealers out there that want to join us for queso?
Yeah. Nice.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
It sounds like a
What's
great
it called?
idea.
Matt's El Rancho.
That's one of them that we really liked in
That's
that
one of the
area, but
favorites.
I'm wondering what's going to be around Round Rock.
We didn't. Round Rock. I
Yeah,
don't
we'll
know
have to
exactly.
figure it out. So if any of you guys know the area really well, we'll figure out where we can get the best queso and then maybe do a little queso something while we're
Nice.
there.
Okay, perfect.
So just want to let you know, Monday too, we're going to be doing the next gaping hole. So if you found some value in what it is that we talked about today with check writing, Monday we will be talking about that as well.
Just getting started. A lot of really important stuff to know.
And it's really meaty stuff. So if you are listening to this well after we've done the live broadcast, you can always find us on YouTube. So if you like and subscribe, that it goes there a lot faster than it does on the podcast syndicated stuff, because it takes me it's at least 24 hours before you're going to see this broadcast available. But on YouTube, it's pretty, and also on Facebook, it's pretty instantaneous. And then again, when we broadcast live at our 9 a.m. Eastern broadcast, so that'll be 6 a.m. there. And yes, we are diehards. We will be there. We will be doing this.
There won't be anybody else around. We'll be there. Yeah.
I mean, those of you who if we kind of tickle your interest enough, you'll set your alarm and wake up and listen. We have a really, really, really big announcement that that Jim and I are going to be making on Wednesday, for our normally broadcast time, 6 a.m. for those that will be at Vegas, 9 a.m. for those on Eastern.
Important for the entire industry.
Absolutely. So have yourself a great weekend. It's Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there. And that's one of the reasons why we're going to Albuquerque, is we're going to be spending some time with Jim's family and and his dad as well. And for me, those of you who know me, I lost my dad in March. And so for all of those of you, oh, I'm going to get a little emotional. For all of those that you have lost your dads, happy Father's Day to them too.
That's right.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys. We really appreciate you joining us.
Tune in on Monday.
All right.
Thanks.
See you later.